Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for agreeing to doing this. Okay. This is gonna have to do.
All
Just trying to
right.
say it all correctly. All right. So before I ask my questions, I just want to say thank you so much for making this album, for putting your time and dedication into this, for taking your time, for not letting the haters get you down. Because I do look at the internet, and I know there's a lot of nonsense, if I may say,
Oh,
going on.
there's actually not that much. There's only a few idiots out there, so there's really not that much.
Right. Well, that's good. That's great. So just thank you so much for doing this. It, from the bottom of my heart, it means a lot to me and so many other people.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So my first question to you would be is what got you into drumming?
My uncle Mike was a drummer, and he was a big influence for me as a young man. I would see him. He would go out and tour and do all these really cool things, and he really inspired me to play drums. And my dad was a musician as well, a guitar player, and I guess I just kind of always really liked the idea of performing. And then when my friends started joining bands, when I was in my early teens, I just kind of was around it a lot. And then I got really inspired to try to start learning how to play. And I did when I was about 17. When I was 17, I picked up drums for the first time.
Awesome. That's really cool. So you come from a musical background.
Yeah, musical family, somewhat, sure.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. That's great. So what was your first musical experience? What was your first time picking up the drums?
Ah, man, I don't know that I even remember the first time picking up the drums. Probably visiting my uncle Mike. As a matter of fact, it was. I do remember this. He lived in Tempe, and he had a rehearsal studio with a band that he was playing with, and he took me over to the rehearsal space and let me tinker around and hit the drums, and he showed me a couple of little drum beats, and that was my first time playing the drums.
Great. That's awesome. Okay, cool. I always wanted to play the drums, but when I asked my mom, she gave me a guitar. So I guess I got something else, but can't wait to do that one day. Who are
You
some
know
of your
what? The guitar, you get more girls with the guitar. It's okay.
You know what? That's funny you say that is because I told my that's so crazy. I told my teacher I was getting a guitar and he was like, "Good for you. You're going to get a lot of chicks with that." I was
There you
like,
go. Yeah.
"Yeah." So who are some of your musical inspirations to you?
So as a young man, I liked the band Kiss. I liked the theatrics of the band
Ah.
Kiss. As I grew up and started to understand music a little bit more, and got more emotionally connected to the music,
Hmm.
I started really attaching to bands like Alice in Chains,
Yes.
bands like Live, Depeche Mode is probably my favorite band of all time. The Cure. Um, there's a right now. The past 10 years, I would have to say my favorite band is a band called Keen. So uh, Depeche Mode, The Cure, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam,
Pearl
early Guns N'
Jam.
Roses. Bands like that all had huge impact for me.
Okay, awesome. I felt a lot of grunge in that. If I'm yeah, because like Alice in
Yeah,
Chains,
I mean when
that's
I
what
was
Greydaze is, right?
well, Greydaze is post grunge, but yeah, I
Right.
mean we were all kind of born in that era.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. So, what are some of your favorite genres of music, if then?
Well, I mean, obviously the grunge, and then,
Right.
but I mean, Depeche Mode and The Cure, those are more alternative, uh, pop bands.
Right.
I'm not a real big country fan, and I'm not a real big blues fan. So I like rock, I like hip hop, I like some
Nice.
pop, but rock, and more specifically, um, straightforward rock. And I'm not into this really fast kind of speed metal stuff.
Ah,
That
okay.
right now it's not really my thing at all. It kind of is very boring to me.
Oh wow, that's kind of funny because it's like it's fast, so I would assume you just like be in it, go get into
Uh,
it.
yeah, it's a boring. I mean, there's a lot of energy in there, but it's
Right.
just boring to me because it's very repetitive, and most of the singers in that type of music can't really sing. So I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled because I got to play with one of the best singers of all
Singers,
time.
absolutely. So how did Gradius come about? What were the conversations like? What was your goal in mind for the band and stuff like that?
Early on, we just wanted to be rock stars.
Yeah.
and we loved playing, and we loved, we were playing parties all the time, and we just liked the lifestyle of being rock stars. You know, the reformation of the band had a different intent. Chester really, when he called me to put the band back together, he told me, he said, "Look, I just miss having a rock band of my own, and I want to do something different." But Chester, he always had several different avenues of where he wanted to um, play. I mean, he was never satisfied just doing one thing, and
Right.
that's not a diss to any of the projects he did. He loved doing all of them. So
Right.
that's just who he was, And
Yeah.
so he missed being around his friends, and he missed just having something of his own, and that's really why Greydaze got put back together. So I
Okay.
saw somebody ask me what my favorite movie was. The movie Casino with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. Favorite movie, easily.
Awesome. So, how many other? So I remember I was watching the documentary, and I remember you talking about how at first Chester wasn't who you had in mind for a lead singer. So, my question is, how many other options did you have in mind for a lead singer before you landed on
Oh,
Chester?
well, we had several people try out, but I think what you're talking about is some of my comments when was me trying to be honest with the people when I'm giving an interview. When I first saw Chester, he was this young, nerdy looking kind of kid, and we all
Right.
had this super long hair. We looked like you know we looked like
Right.
all the bands we were idolizing at the time, and he hadn't grown to that yet. And so I think those comments was my initial um, thought when I saw him walk through the door. I was like, oh
Right.
man, this isn't what we're looking for. But then he
Right.
sang, and within minutes, I felt stupid, and why am I judging this guy? He's
Right.
incredible, and he sings great. So within minutes, we were asking him to join the band. So it wasn't like there was all these other options out there. I mean, we had tried out a few
Okay.
singers, but as soon as Chester auditioned, that was it. We're like, he's the guy.
Right. Okay, cool. So what was your first Greydaze show like?
Our first Grey Daze show was we got hired for a fraternity party in Tempe, Arizona, and they asked us to play a bunch of cover songs. So we had to learn a bunch of cover songs, and we went to play it. And yeah, you're right. Never judge a book by a cover. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Uh, so then we went, we played. We weren't, I think it must have been like two or 3 months after we formed the band, because we didn't have enough material even for a full set. And I remember they wanted us to play for like 2 hours. So we were going to, this is a boring story, but I'm gonna tell it anyways. So
No,
we
it's
were,
fine.
we were gonna try to play our first 9 songs or whatever we had, and we're gonna take a
Hmm.
break, and then we were gonna play our next like 8 songs, but we're gonna have to mix in like half of the first set and play them again. But after we took our first break, the police ended up breaking up this giant fraternity party, and we didn't have to play it. So we kind of got out of that by the skin of our teeth, which is kind of funny.
That's dope. Yeah. So what is I was gonna ask, what is your funniest moment from the early stages of Greydaze? Would that
I
be
have a
it?
bunch. I
Oh,
have a
okay.
bunch of funny moments. So early stages of Grey Daze, there was a we were one of our first shows. We had this lighting effect that was like a helicopter light. It just spun around and around and around, and we had it on the
Oh,
front of the
cool.
stage. And Chester's microphone cord got caught in it, and as it wound up the cord, he got smaller and smaller on the stage, and he ended up singing, sitting down on the stage into this lighting effect because his microphone cord got wrapped all the way up. That was a funny moment. And then I remember we were auditioning. We weren't auditioning. We were playing a private showcase for a record label,
Mhm.
and we had this guy who we didn't know, friend of a friend type thing, say, "Yeah, I got all these pyrotechnics. You guys should bring it in." And we were not a pyrotechnics band at all. We were not like fire
Right.
and smoke and all that kind of crap. It's not what we were
Slayer,
about.
stuff like that.
Yeah, but we're like, cool. Yeah, that sounds fine. Bring it in. So we didn't even look at what he brought in. He just brought it and set it up on the stage, and we did this big build up for the intro of the show. And then there's this one part where I come crashing down on those on the cymbals, and then this explosion happens. Well, he didn't check the amount of gunpowder that he put
Jeez.
in the silos, and
Right.
these flames shot up 30 feet and melted the lights up on the top, and it was so hot. I remember all of us on stage, we just froze because we were like, because it felt like an explosion
Right.
happened. You know, we're like, oh my god, and we just kind of stopped, and then we just all looked around, and I just counted us off, and then we started playing again. But that was, we get off the stage, and the record label ended up signing us,
Oh,
and he goes,
dope.
"You guys were great. Don't ever do those stupid pyrotechnics again." And that was pretty funny. That was good.
Yeah. So how would you describe the energy in the crowds when you guys played?
As we started getting bigger crowds, the crowds were great. I mean, they would start mosh pits, which we were not a mosh pit band, but they would start doing
Right.
that. They would scream. We would have, the last 2 years we were playing in front of 1,000 plus people every night we played, and some of the shows
Right.
were 1,500, 1,800 people. And, we play the Whiskey in LA, we'd have that place sold out. And we played Electric Ballroom, it would be sold out. We'd play the Coconut Teaser in LA, it'd be sold out. So the
Wow.
crowd's enthusiasm was great, especially the last 2 years when we started getting radio play,
Mm-hmm.
and we really had to develop. I remember there's video of this somewhere. We played. There was a band that was blowing up called Seven Mary Three. I don't know. I don't know if you remember that band. They had that song called Cumbersome. It was huge, and they were the headliner, and we got asked to open up for them, and we could sell the place out by ourselves. But we played with them. We got off stage. They got off stage. We went to the back of the club, and there's video of this where there's literally like 800 kids in line waiting to get their autographs and take photos with us. And the band
Wow.
Seven Mary Three is across from us at their booth, and there's like two kids there waiting to get signed. And the singer comes over and goes, "Who the fuck are you guys? Like, I've never heard." Like, he couldn't believe that we had this huge crowd there for us, and they were the headlining band. So there were moments like that were, it's fun to think back and of that kind of stuff.
Right. That sounds awesome. I mean, I couldn't imagine how you guys were feeling when all those people came. You just following you guys' dream and just doing it big. So,
Yeah, we
yeah.
were having fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, how
So
you doing?
I know that Grey Daze has split. It was an incident and stuff. How were you feeling, and what did you want to do next? Yeah, like what did you want to do after you
So
guys?
when the band broke up in '98, there was a lot of hurt feelings. Chester and I didn't talk for a couple years, and I went on with Bobby, and I went on to form another group called Waterface, and
Okay.
we ended up getting a deal with EMI, and Chester, our attorney Scott Harrington, had Chester record a demo tape for these guys out in LA that were called Zero. And then, of course, Zero became Hybrid Theory. Hybrid Theory became Linkin
Lincoln
Park.
Park,
And
right.
the rest is history. So um, Bobby and Mai's album from Waterface came out the same week that Hybrid Theory came out.
No.
Yeah, and I had
Oh.
there was a magazine back in the day called Alternative Press,
Right.
and it would talk about all the new upcoming bands. And
Uh-huh.
there's a page with Chester on there, and there's a page with me on there, talking about the different groups. And then Chester's first tour was also Waterface's first tour.
Wow.
Both of our first, he was on the tour already, and then Waterface's first show of the Rock the Vote tour was with
Hmm.
Linkin Park. I still have a flyer from that. It's pretty funny.
That's wow.
Yeah.
So I couldn't
And then,
imagine you.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say I couldn't imagine how well like your album did because Hybrid Theory broke records. Like that was a pretty
Oh,
big
it's huge.
album.
I ended up leaving Waterface. The guys in the band just did not want to work very hard. And then
Okay.
After being in Grey Daze, that was a great band. And I could
Hmm.
see the writing on the wall that the new band didn't want to work very hard. And so I ended up leaving the
Mm.
group, and, I had a recording studio, and then, I was working on, my business, Club Tattoo, for the next
Ah.
couple of years. And then Chester and I reconciled, and then we became business partners in 2003. And, the rest is kind of history. We ended up becoming business partners. We ended up playing in several bands. We tried to put Greydaze back together briefly in 2002.
Oh, okay.
And then again in 2007, and then just the timing wasn't right. So it
Right.
came down to 2016 when it felt right.
Right. Okay. Well, now that leads me to my next line of questioning is about club tattoos. So, what interests you about tattoos?
I mean, I just like the artwork, you know.
Right.
I'm covered in them, so I have always liked the artwork. It's been something that's been fascinating to me since I was a little kid. So, you know,
Right.
I've been drawn to it for a long time.
Oh, okay. How many tattoos do you have?
One, it's one big one. Starts here and goes all the way around my whole body.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's pretty cool. I want to get a tattoo one day. Um, what do you love about running Club Tattoo? Like, what interests you about it?
I love being an entrepreneur.
Right.
It's not just Club Tattoo. I have 15 different businesses.
Oh,
I
wow.
own a real estate company. I own two clothing companies. I own a jewelry company. I have 6 stores. Getting in. I've got 2 other stores that I'm opening right now.
Nice.
I love developing businesses. I love helping young people live their dreams and fulfill their dreams and become uh, business savvy and try to learn how to make money and become successful. And I don't ever chase money, so I don't want you to misinterpret what I'm saying. Is like if you chase
No, I
being
understand.
great,
Yeah.
if you chase being great and you're
Hmm.
always trying to work towards making something awesome, then you will be successful monetarily as well. So
Nice. Need to open one down here in Georgia for me. I'd love to do something like that. Um, so Club Tattoo. That's a lot of like how many that's you're really out here. I didn't know how many stores you own. I know you own Club Tattoo. I didn't know you own like like that's insane. How does it to manage all of that? I know it's got to be like a lot.
well, we have 130 employees, and we have some great managers. So I don't manage them.
Right.
I have people that work for us that do a really good job of running the
Right.
entire company, and they do just a great job. Do you want
Right.
to take some questions from some of the people here in the feed? Throw up some
Sure.
questions, you guys, and I'll answer your questions.
Oh, I had a couple more just for me
Yeah,
personally.
keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. So, what exactly were you planning with Chester? I know you talked about doing songs with you wanted to remaster No Sun Today, correct? I always say No Sun Tomorrow for some reason. Oh,
No,
sorry.
I don't know where this whole remastering thing came from.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all over the internet. It's not remastered. This is completely rewritten and re-recorded. I don't know why I'm
Okay.
saying remastered. That's just not. It's not what it is. It was not our intention. The entire
Okay.
time Chester was alive, we were working on re-recording the music. So remastered never came about. So
Okay.
our intention was to go full bore. You know, we once we announced the reunion, um, we started getting offers to play all over the world: Japan, Australia, Germany. And then we realized, okay, well, if we're going to do that, we have to have a product. We have to have a record. So we were going to go re-record the songs on No Sun Today. That's how we started. Once I started working with the band and a producer named Sylvia Massey, Chester still had touring to do with Linkin Park. So we would send him emails back and forth to the material, and we would go, we'd get on the phone and we would talk about what we liked and what he didn't like, what he wanted to change. He would play me new songs that he wanted me to hear that we could work on once he got into the studio. So that's really the creative juices that were going. And then once we started doing that, we realized some of these songs, they felt a little bit dated, and we wanted to renovate them a little bit. We wanted to bring them up and make them more current. So we started talking about adding some synthesizers or adding some
Okay.
drum programming and things like that. And
Right.
that's how it all got started.
Okay.
And then, of course, once Chester passed away and I decided to finish the record with the guys, um, we started from scratch. We stripped all of the music away and rewrote every song around his vocals so that we could really showcase the vocal performance on every song. That's what it was about.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for clearing that up too, because I've heard so much stuff about what was going to really happen that I was just kind of confused on what was like really going on with it. So I know others were confused too. Someone asked about what is "Wake Me" about, and how did you come up with the song name?
Chester and I wrote the lyrics for that back, it would have been 93, 94. We used it as the title track for the album, and I honestly don't remember why. I think it was just because we felt like it was a strong song off of the record.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think it was the best song off the record, but I think at the time we all
Ah,
really liked just how heavy it was, and
right.
I think it was just more of an ethereal conversation or ethereal concept where, you know, that was more of a philosophical track, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Someone said, "Do you have any
I wish I
plans to
had a
do?"
better answer for that one. I'm sorry.
Right. No, you're fine. Are there any songs from Waterface on YouTube?
I am not sure. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't track that anymore. I haven't looked at the Waterface stuff in a long time. No, so here's
Okay.
something I'm going to answer. I see this on it. Can the Greydaze account follow you? We can't follow everybody because we literally get 100 to 200 requests every day. We just can't do that. So I'm sorry. We can't. We try to like your stuff when you post about Greydaze. We try to put it in our feed. We try to answer every single message that comes into our Instagram and Facebook. We really do try to spend time with you guys, and most of you are very respectful. There's a few people that are
Nasty.
a
Yeah.
little bit rude. It's like, we don't really owe you this. We're doing this to be kind and to be nice, and so that's
Right.
really. I just wanted to address that real quick. What else we got in there?
Uh, how did you pick which people to ask to help you out with amends?
Good question. It happened very organically, to be quite honest. So
Okay.
um, the first one was Chester and I's good friend Ryan Shuck. He of course played guitar in Dead by Sunrise, but he's also a very close friend of mine and Chester's. We used to hang out all the time. Um, he was also in Bucket of Weenies with Chester and I. We just were great friends, and it just felt very natural to have him come and guest. And then once we did that, I was on the phone one day with Head from Korn, and I was telling him what we were doing, and I said, "Would you mind giving me your opinion on it?" And he said, "Of course, bro." And I sent him what we were doing with B12, and literally it must have, like, to the second as the song ended on his side, he picked up the phone and called me. He's like, "Dude, what is this, man?" And just the excitement in his voice
Yeah.
got me thinking, well, maybe we should have him play guitar on this. And he's like, can Monkey play on this too? I'm like, absolutely. These guys are, first of all, Chester loved those guys. He loved Head and he loved Monkey. And they're heroes of ours too. So, we grew up
Ah,
with those guys. It was a big deal. So getting them involved was really a cool thing for us to do. And it just happened very organically. And then everybody else kind of, one thing after another happened that way. A mutual friend of ours named Renee Mata introduced us to several people.
okay, cool. Did you did you ask Mike to do anything?
No,
No.
no, this project wasn't about Mike or Lincoln Park. This project is about, early on we did send some tracks to their management
Ah,
just to make
okay.
sure that there was no hard feelings, like, look, because they knew that Chester was doing this project, so this wasn't a surprise, and we wanted to be respectful to everybody involved, but at the same time, we didn't need anyone's permission, and
Hmm.
we wanted to just make sure we weren't stepping on toes, and I think that's really about it.
Okay, awesome, awesome, cool, cool. Why did you pick mostly? What I noticed is you guys picked mostly songs from No Sun Today to be on this first one. How did that happen? How'd you like pick songs?
I don't think that's really the case because you have sometimes you have What's in the Eye, you have Moray Sky, you have Shouting Out, and you have She Shines. Those are all off Wake Me.
Okay,
And
I
then
got confused sometimes too because like when I
there's
would
two
like
songs on both. Yeah.
right, yeah, that's why I got confused because I thought it was tripping or something because I just got confused on what came from what sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Um, what songs did you write off of both of them?
What lyrics did I write?
Yes.
Okay, well, so Chester and I wrote almost all of the lyrics together. So even if I wrote Moray Sky and I wrote In Time, but when
Mm-hmm.
I brought him into, Moray Sky, Chester and I wrote on the beach together. But Just Like Heroin or In Time and What's in the Eye. Those songs I wrote initially, but I would bring them into practice, and he would cross stuff off and write additional words and do
Right. Okay.
and add. So that I can't say I wrote any of them 100% because he added a ton of input and creativity. And then songs like um, Sickness, he wrote 100% by himself. I didn't write any of the lyrics on that one. So,
Okay.
but then songs like The Syndrome, he wrote most of that, and then I would help write on the chorus. Or songs like Shouting Out, he wrote 100% on his own on that one too. She Shines, he wrote 100% on his own.
Right.
But it was a anything that I wrote, he wrote with me.
Okay.
There's not one song that every single word is written by me.
Right. Okay. What songs were most difficult for you to go back to and play after all those years again?
B12 was the hardest to reimagine because the original version of B12 was so funky
Yeah.
that for me it was very difficult to reimagine the way we did it. But we brought in a really great producer named Alex Aldi who helped us kind of
Oh,
recreate and
such a great song.
rethink that song,
Yeah.
and I think he did a great job. But the other one that was tough to reimagine for me was Just Like Heroin, because the original
Okay.
version was so slow, and we really brought it up. And to me, that one, um, the re imagined version of Just Like Heroin, to me, really feels that grunge vibe, that post grunge vibe, and I love that song. So.
Such a great song. Which leads me to my next question. What song gets you the most hyped? Like you listen to it and you're like, I'm ready to take on the day and just do my thing from the album.
Sickness for sure. Sickness has
Okay.
that raw energy that makes me feel like I could lift up a car.
What song was so emotional to put on the album? Someone asked.
Uh, every song was emotional, man. I mean, the first couple of months when we just had his vocals isolated, there were a lot of tears, a lot of crying.
Mm.
I think for me, I would have to answer Moray Sky is the deepest heart touching track for me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my
but
gosh. Yeah.
but for Kristen, Shouting Out is the most emotional song, and then for Mace, I think he would probably say The Syndrome. So it's different for each one of us.
Right. How would you describe your journey leading up to making amends?
Well, it's very dark, to be quite honest, because it
Mm.
started, with one of my best friends. When we started this whole process, we were excited to work together again and have fun together again. And then when he left us,
Yeah.
um, the whole thing just stopped.
Right.
So, from the moment, I guess, from picking it up, it was an incredibly emotional journey. And, the whole time that we were doing this, we were trying to make sure that we were doing it respectfully. We wanted to make sure that the fans were going to relate to it and not feel like it was exploitive in any way. We wanted to keep the integrity of the music. We wanted to keep the intensity and the initial intent of the vocal performances there. I mean, it was so many things we
Right.
had to think about as we did this project. So,
Right.
the whole process was. I think it's pretty well documented, as you can go back and watch a lot of
Right.
interviews how and why we did this stuff. So.
Right. Um. Can we expect a second? Ooh, excuse me. Can we expect a second album?
Yeah, yeah, we have at least one more record, if not two. Um,
Great.
and possibly, more than that. There's other tracks out there that we're still trying to lock down. But yeah, we'll
Do you
work
have
on
it?
another
Yeah.
album here real soon.
That's. Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. I love the first Amends. I have it right here. It's great. I love it. I listen to it almost every day. Such a great album.
Awesome.
Um. Trying to look here. How did you choose? How did you choose the album names? I assume he was talking about the first two, like No Sun Today and Wake Me.
So Wake Me, obviously was taken after the song Wake Me off of the
Mm.
record. No Sun Today. We did the album shoot with our manager's daughter. Her name was Jessica Rose, and we
Hmm.
took photographs of her in a cemetery. And that original cover, we used a very we supplemented the sky in the background for some dark rainy clouds,
Hmm.
and then her standing in a graveyard holding the flower. It was a very sad and somber mood of the cover, and that's how we came up with "There's No Sun Today." That whole reference is a very dark, emotional album, and every song
Right.
on that record is dark. You know.
Yes, of course. This would be my last question for you is, so there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a pandemic going on. There are riots going on. What would your current message to the world be right now in the times we're living in?
Things are going to get better. Don't 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 concentrate on all the things that are going wrong. Concentrate on the one thing, or the one thing that's going right in your life, or the things that you can control. Concentrate your energy and your time on those things.
Hmm.
And when you start to feel really down, try to go out and be helpful to somebody else. I find that in my lowest moments, and I don't get depressed very often, I'm actually a very positive, very optimistic human being that thinks he can
That's
go and
awesome.
conquer the world at all times. But I do have my moments. And when I have my moments, I try to find gratitude. And I ask myself, you need to dig deep down and be grateful. Find something to be grateful for. Because something I learned from Tony Robbins a long time ago is it is impossible to be angry or sad at the same time as being grateful. You cannot be grateful and angry at the same time. You cannot be
Mm.
grateful and sad at the same time. So that
Cool.
just reaching into yourself and finding one thing to be grateful for will bring you out of those low points. And then, for me, what I like to do is go donate my time and energy to charitable organizations. So out here in Arizona, we have a company called Feed My Starving Children. And I'll tell you what, if you ever want a reality check of how your life is, uh, all you have to do is go to this place and you find these kids that are living, homeless in the streets in Haiti, or homeless in the
Mm.
streets of, Thailand or
Yeah.
Burma, Myanmar. And, they literally are living in a cardboard box, and they eat one meal every 3 days. It only takes a few moments of being around that till you realize my life is pretty darn good. Let me help contribute to make somebody else's life better.
Wow. Wow. I'm sorry, I'm just processing all that because that's very true. Wow, yeah. Someone said you could be a great therapist. I do agree. um, who was Chester talking to uh, at the end of shouting out?
So we all have but we are sharing stories. We all have a bunch of voicemails from Chester, and our friend Renee Mata, he was close with Chester as well. And he had this voicemail and he played it for us. And I was like, wow, that is really beautiful voicemail. And because he doesn't say anybody's name. He doesn't say anything other than just a message of love. We're like, that could be a message to everybody. So
Absolutely.
we were like, the listener, because Chester's fans feel very connected to him. They feel a
Oh
sense of
yes.
ownership. They feel a
Right.
sense of ownership with him. So we felt like putting that as like his goodbye to them, that they would get a sense of closure and feel a sense of connection to him personally through that voice message.
Right. Well, Sean, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for the positive message. Thank you for just coming on. I'm very grateful to you guys. You guys are the reason I do interviews. My first interview was with Mace, and it's just been spiraling uphill. Well, it's just been going uphill from there in a very positive way. I just want to say thank you for coming
Well, thanks.
on.
Thanks for having me on here. I would like to answer some questions
Oh
from
yeah,
the people
cool.
in the feed here. So,
Oh, of course, yes. Uh, gonna. Do you still write music?
of course, I write music. It's in my blood. Absolutely, all the time.
Wow.
I'm writing songs for the new record right now.
Without giving any songs away on the next album, do you have an idea of ones you want on there? Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yes, we already have about 15 songs that we're working with, as far as a starting point. So yes, we do.
Right. About the CD. Take that. Are you going to do a concert?
I'm not sure yet. We've got some interesting ideas, that because for us, it's not about First of all, I don't need to do this. I'm very successful in business, so if we're going to do it, it's got to be done with respect for Chester in mind. We're not going to
Right.
replace Chester. So if we are going to do something, we're going to have some very high-tech, unique video elements that
Hmm.
would still make it interesting. Because
Right.
I don't want to do this weird holograms. I don't think they're good enough quality to
Look.
do that.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
it's gotta be genuine. So I think what we might do, what we're playing with right now, is maybe do some really cool old footage of Chester where we can do these really unique high tech video screens, and then maybe bring in a couple of guest singers that will sing the songs with Chester. That seems
Okay.
interesting to us, so we might do something like that. My hair
Okay.
looks awesome. Thank you, William Dubois. I appreciate that.
Yes, it does. Have you ever considered joining another band in the future?
No, I get offers all the time. No,
Oh wow.
no,
What
I'm not.
other bands? Okay. What other
But
bands are you currently listening to?
man, there's my favorite band right now is a band called Keen, and you
Mm.
guys probably don't. Maybe a lot of you don't know the band, but it's just the singer is just amazing. And I rocked Depeche Mode Violator the other day for a while, and um, I listened to oh man, I rocked out to Appetite for Destruction a couple days ago, and
Ah,
those are some older things, but every once in a while they get your blood pumping, you know.
right. Me personally, I listen to a lot of older music because I'm not the biggest fan of current music. I know, I mean, I'm not, I'm pretty young, so I know that's kind of a weird answer, but I just like older music, like going back to like old R&B or old rock or Metallica or something like that. Just kind of up my alley for me personally. Um,
What other questions we got in here, guys?
oh, do you know any other instruments?
Yeah, I play piano. There's a track you guys might be able to find on the old hidden track of the Down syndrome, the syndrome, where I'm playing grand piano and Chester singing and Bobby and Mace are playing guitars. Yeah, I play piano. I'm not a great piano player, but I can play.
Awesome. I want to learn how to play piano someday too.
What else we got? No vocal correction for Chester's vocal take. I don't understand what that means, but yeah, we rearranged and did a lot of stuff to Chester's vocals to make them sound as good as they can. So I don't know about vocal correction. I don't know what that really means. If you mean like an auto tune, I think there was some stuff that we did have to do some tuning to, but nothing major. I mean, as you guys know, he was a great singer, so
Yep.
um, nothing too much. What else we got?
What is your favorite song to play on drums? I would assume from the album, or
My favorite song to play from the album. Oh man, that's a great question. I like just like heroin, and I like sickness, but
Jeez.
I like to mess around with some Tool songs and stuff like that. That drummer is just really insanely ridiculous, and I
Yeah.
like to play some old Alice in Chains songs, and I like to play. I love playing cover tunes. It's always been something fun for me to do. So I love playing other people's music.
Is there any reason why CShine is in between Moray Sky and Shouting Out?
No, no, I saw that earlier. I meant to answer that.
No.
It was the label had a lot to do with the song order, and they would just come back to us. We like this order, we like this order, and I think the band just kind of said, yeah, we like this one too. There's really nothing behind it.
Oh, okay. Uh, how many tattoos do you have, and did you and Chester ever get any together?
We did. Yeah, we did almost all of Chester tattoos at the shop at Club Tattoo, and
Nice.
I have, I guess, technically about 14 tattoos, but most I look at it as just kind of one thing because it's all over my whole body at this point, and
Right.
I'm tattooed all over the place. So yeah.
Nice.
All right, what?
Uh,
See a lot of hellos, highs. What is the logic behind B12? So B12, the title comes from the vitamin B12 because it's a high energy song. That's why Chester named it B12. That is the logic behind it. So hopefully that answers. We get that question a lot.
Mm.
Um,
Is it true your son played the drums on the Syndrome?
he did, and then my other son had him play on B12. It was important for me to try to get my kids involved, and let them be part of this.
Right.
I wrote the drum parts and then had them play it. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to work with with both of them. Carson and Brandon, they're great.
Yes. I saw one of your sons liked one of my posts. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Are there any songs that are reworked and almost finished that we can expect to see on the next album?
Yes, there are, but I can't tell you what they are. There's some
Okay.
stuff that's really close to being done that just didn't make the Amends record that will be on the next record for sure.
Awesome. What song? I'm trying to think. There was one song I saw on YouTube I was going to ask you about. I can't remember the name of the time. You guys did it Instagram Live.
That was
My bad.
never should have been
My bad. Hold.
that, but it got rebroadcast, and but that's not one of the ones that we're actually not happy with the way that I think it turned out good, but it didn't turn out great. So we're actually reworking
Right.
that right now.
Okay. Question I have is, you guys are amazing. Why didn't Grey Daze blow up at the same time as Linkin Park? They started at two different times.
Well, we broke up in 1998, and it's weird because we broke up right as we were signing a record deal with Warner Brothers. We were signing we signed a production deal with those guys, and then when we broke up, we just it was a lot of reasons we broke up, and I think I've covered that ground in so many other interviews. But
Yeah.
when we broke up, our attorney was really smart, and he thought Chester was very special, so he asked Chester, hey, I don't want to see you kind of drift off into nowhere land and become unsuccessful in the music world. So he took him and had him audition for these other bands out there. And one of those bands was Zero. So, thank God for Scott Harrington, because without him, he never, Chester never would have went out to LA, and you guys would have not really heard him. So.
Right. Will the original Grey Daze concerts get enhanced or remastered?
Probably actually. I've been trying to figure out a way to increase the quality of those things. Obviously,
Nice.
the music is very difficult to do because their audio is all distorted on a lot of them.
Right.
But the visuals, I think, would be really cool if we could try to make those a little bit more high definition, for sure.
Nice. Do you have? Oh, this is a question. Hold on. Can you see that?
Do you have anything to reimagine and take anything from Chester? When I can only see part of the top. Go ahead and read it to me.
Oh yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Cool. Do you have anything to reimagine and take anything from Chester when his words weren't in the music?
I don't understand that question.
Yeah. I guess what they're trying to say is I don't get it either. So I'm trying to, maybe what they're saying is, through the remastered songs, do you take away anything new from what Chester was saying? I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I was actually going to answer it a different way, but yes. So
Yeah,
the
okay.
lyrics to me take on an entirely new meaning now that Chester's gone. They're much deeper, and I can hear his pain and the things that he was singing about in an entirely different light. I also was going to answer it this way.
Okay.
There are different vocal takes that we used on this album that he originally did for No Sun Today and Wake Me that we didn't use in those mixes back then. So there are some different vocal takes of Chester singing different ways on different parts that you haven't heard before.
Okay.
Who wrote In Time? I wrote the majority of the lyrics to In Time, but I think I shared a story earlier on, what he did with the whole little phrasing of pain and all that stuff. But he and I wrote all the lyrics together on that song. Was a combination, but I originally wrote the initial.
Awesome. That's one of my favorites. What's the meaning to in time?
I honestly, I think it's about somebody trying to understand the meaning of life. You know, it's a very conceptual. You know,
Yeah.
why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Why do things just why the first lyric time? Why does it why does it fly so? It's trying to contextualize. It's a concept song. It's
Right.
trying to make meaning of the events that happen throughout your life. That's the easiest way I can describe it. There you go.
Okay. Uh, did you upload a cappella versions of the album?
They are done. I am not sure when they're going to be uploaded, but they are done, and instrumentals as well.
Okay, nice, cool. Um, I think that's it. You probably answered all of them.
All right. So
All
if we
right.
ever see a face-off between Sean and Tommy Lee, sure, I would love to do that. That actually would be a lot of fun. Tommy's a really nice guy. I've met him a few times. That would be fun. I would love to do that.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for stopping by. Like I said, this means the world to me. I've been trying to do this for a very long time. So thank you
I
so
know you're
much.
persistent, man. You're persistent.
Yes,
I,
yes.
I, I think I told him no like 3 times, and I finally, all right, I'll do it. So no, good for you, man. Keep doing things that way too. So
Right.
we've got some other really cool things coming up soon. So thanks everyone for following us and for listening to the music. And I hope that the music has touched you emotionally and that you guys connect with it.
Yes.
And just really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm having an amazing day, and I'll
All
keep in
right, you
touch.
too.
Have a great one. Thank you.
Take care,
Bye,
you guys.
guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.